All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are with the Heat Lifers podcast with your boy CL Anthony and my tall white buddy Kevin Carter. What's up, Kevin?
What's up?
Nothing much, man. How you been this week? We're a week removed from the Heat being eliminated by the Bucks in the playoffs. How you feeling?
I am perfectly fine. I really don't have to watch basketball right now if I don't want to. So I'm like
No,
I'm like perfectly fine. I've been catching up on all the TV shows that I've missed. So yeah, it don't hurt me none. See, it's like I tell people, the older in age you get, the less and less and less and less that losing hurts.
mm.
So Magic fans, when you get in your 40s, you're not going to care anymore.
How much longer does Cortez have before he hit four? I know you're a couple of years out, right?
Oh yeah, I told him. I said, "Yeah, you're getting close to where you're not going to care anymore. So don't worry about it. All the seasons start running together when that all that happens."
Look, I'm hitting the big 4-0 in December, so I'm already immune to it, but I'm hitting that big 4-0 soon.
I'm hitting 44 next Saturday. So
Oh wow, okay.
yeah, yeah. So like I'm like I don't bother me none.
Well, happy early birthday. I'll tell you that.
Oh, thank you.
What changes do you think Miami needs to make in the offseason? Because we're only going to have, as of right now, we only have five people guaranteed for next season. So what changes do you see us making in the offseason to improve upon this team? Because there's going to be changes, a lot.
One big gigantic change is, my God, find somebody that's going to play defense at the guard position. We
Mm,
have absolutely, positively nobody that plays defense in the guard position. No one.
hmm
No one. And everybody talks about how great Duncan Robinson is of a 3-point shooter. Well, if you have 4 fouls before the first quarter even ends, being able to shoot does you no good when you're sitting your ass on the bench for the majority of the game. Like, you can't have guys that can't guard anybody. You have
hmm
to play you have to at least get in the way and not foul them. And we have nobody at the guard position that plays any defense whatsoever. For how great all the other people are at defending, the guard play just has we have no defense whatsoever. And that's what gets on my nerves. And for God's sake, find a true big man that is going to play the middle, get rebounds, and not make the whole team look so soft, because they look soft against the Bucks. They look like they didn't even want to be there. After the first game, they looked like they didn't even want to be there, and they looked like they wanted to get vacation started early.
Get that Cancun trip in early.
Oh, dude, you know what it looked like? It looked like a team that only had 70 days in the off season off, and the
Mm,
last 14 months, all they've been doing is playing basketball.
exactly. Yeah, I
And
agree
that's
with you on that.
and that's what it looked like. They looked like a team that just was like, you know what? We're tired.
Hmm
We're tired. We're we're older. It was the same thing on the other side. The
Right,
Lakers, same thing.
right.
We're tired. We're an older team. We're tired, and we're going to get run out of the gym by people that have young legs, and that's
hmm
what ended up happening.
There's a huge correlation there. I know LeBron even mentioned the Heat in his press conference after Phoenix eliminated them about what both teams had been through in the bubble and how long they played, because they really only had 2 months off, like you said, before they started the season back up. And you know, I sent you Pat Riley's press conference yesterday. I don't know how much of it you saw, but it caught me off guard because I've never heard Pat Riley say that this team needs rest. I've never heard it. So for him to even acknowledge that was huge because they do need rest. They were tired. And then Milwaukee was
So
just
the
so much. Oh,
and the
go ahead.
bad part is with how much the Heat put into conditioning and stuff like that. If you were continuously playing basketball, but you're also still doing the off season workouts and conditioning and all that stuff, you're going to be butt ass tired,
Right.
because that's just a lot to put on people. And It definitely had an effect. I think even Pat said the past 14 months have been like combining two basketball seasons together,
Right,
and
right,
there really was no off time to do anything else about it. And that's what it is. And what you're seeing now, and just look through the playoffs now. What you're seeing now is the teams that have these young legs mixed with like maybe one or two veterans are the ones that are making all the run. And the Nets are going to make the run because their guys didn't even play last year.
hmm
Like most of the Nets team, they didn't even play. They wasn't even part of the bubble, and these guys got the rest.
right.
Philadelphia, their guys are always hurt, so their guys are going to make a run because they're going to be fresh because they hardly ever play anyway. So I'm just saying, it that's what it is. It's like these guys that fresh young legs and people that didn't have to play a lot in the bubble, they're going to make a run during the playoffs.
That's a great observation.
The bubble killed people, man. It wasn't just people played good in the bubble. People were going to play good outside of the bubble, but the bubble also made people have to play right up next to when the start of the season was going to start right back up.
hmm
I was like, it was a good thing for the bubble that everybody got to watch it and that the NBA was able to start back up. Bad thing for some of the players because they played almost all the way right up close to when the season was going to start back up again when it started.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we can get back to some normalcy now, with everyone having a full off season coming up. So hopefully we can get back to some normalcy. I know you mentioned
Oh,
you wanted
everything's normal. If you go outside now, everything's normal. Well, at least here in
yeah,
Florida, we've been
I,
normal for freaking a year. So,
yeah, for a year, yeah.
but but yeah, everything should be kicking back into normal. We should be able to go about it the right way. I just hope they keep the uh, the NBA schedule like it was, even though it seemed like it lasted for fucking ever. Uh, just keep the NBA season like it was. Don't go back to these 82 games. We already know who's going to be the good teams.
hmm
We already seed it. We already called it. We don't need to go. We don't need to go more games. But that's
So
just me talking. I like the way they scheduled it this year.
yeah, I like that, and I also like the play-in tournament. There's rumors about an in-season tournament, but I don't want that at all. But I know
No,
you mentioned
if you're going to do the in season tournament, what reward are you going to give the person that wins the in season tournament?
right. It's
That
stupid. It's a stupid idea.
I'm like, it's a stupid thing. I get that you want to do certain things, but you all players are only going to play if they're going to get rewarded.
hmm
Like if you tell them, hey, you're going to get the number one seed and you're going to get a bye in the first round if you guys win this tournament and you make the playoffs, oh, okay. But how are you going to do that? Because some team can come out of nowhere, win the tournament, and then barely make the playoffs.
Right,
So
right.
how are you going to give them a bye, or how are you going to do that? It doesn't make any sense. There has to be some sense of a reward there, and you can't really reward a team because you don't know who's going to win it.
hmm
That's
So
stupid.
so you
I'm like,
mentioned about
what are we playing? AAU ball in the pros? No,
earlier you mentioned that the Heat, you want a guard who can play perimeter defense. Who do you have on your radar that can bring that to us?
nobody. I just say things. I, 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 I just say things to say things. I don't pay like I don't eyeball the hell out of everything this early
Gotcha, gotcha.
when stuff comes up. I wait for the off season to come up, then look at stuff and then do that. But as just watching them, seeing what they need, that is one of their biggest needs.
hmm
One of their biggest needs. That's their One of their biggest needs is to get the guard that can play some defense and actually can play a little offense on top of it. The other thing is convincing Bam that, damn it, man, if you got some slow, big, gigantic white guy that you're 10 times more athletic than guarding you, you know what you do? You attack. You don't stay on the perimeter and try to get somebody a 3-point shot. You attack. They were giving you 6 feet of space when you were getting the ball. You know what you do with
Hmm.
that 6 feet? You initiate your point of attack and you go and you attack and you put the ball in the hole or you draw the foul. Never once did you do that. You always looked to hand the ball back off to somebody so they could try to shoot a 3 pointer. I'm like, come on, man. You got to learn to be, if you're big, be big.
I want to dig deeper into that because I know you text me, and I believe it was the final game. You texted me and you said, "Bam, as soft as toilet tissue." Um,
He soft. He
when
he he played legit soft that whole entire thing. Not attacking Lopez was the dumbest thing that he could have done.
right, right. Right. And it's funny because sometimes when he would catch the ball, it reminded me of how Dwight Howard used to be in Orlando. He would catch the ball, he would hesitate like he didn't know what to do, and then he would dish the ball out. And by the time he hesitated, that gave Milwaukee's defense enough chance to set up. And you have to catch and go, like you said. You have
Yeah,
to catch it.
the bad thing was he caught it and hesitated every single time he caught the ball
Right.
because he was
Right.
always looking to hand the ball off to one of the guys coming off the screen so they could shoot a 3 pointer. Look,
Hmm.
dude, I know the game's evolved, but the game is not evolved enough to where you cannot take the ball to the hole yourself.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
was like, I know we drew up an offense to make it where we want to get the ball to these guys so they can shoot their threes and everything like that and have Jimmy take it to the hole. But dang, man, you're supposed to be an all star. Take the ball to the hole, man, especially when you have a guy who's not as fleet as foot as you.
Right. Right.
You are a big dude, a big dude. Take the ball at him. A little
Hmm.
contact is not going to hurt you. This is why we always say some of you guys wouldn't be able to make it in the 80s and 90s because you act like a little bit of contact will hurt you. Please. I'm like, goodness gracious. I think that's just because we're old and we've seen the way basketball has evolved, but we still want a little bit of that old basketball to be played, and people don't play it at all anymore.
And and to add a little bit to that, if people did play that way, then just think about what we said, how he caught the ball, he would hesitate and try to get the ball to the 3-point shooters. If you actually caught the ball and attack and attack and attack, those 3-point shooters would be more open once you attack again,
Exactly.
and then you can dish it. That's old school basketball.
Mhm. Yep, and then
Like,
everybody collapsed.
right.
Everybody collapsed. You think when Charles Barkley got the ball in a certain point, he was looking to hand the ball off to Dan Marley or anything? No,
Hmm.
they were attacking. You know what made Dan Marley get so wide ass open? Charles attacking. You know,
Yeah.
you know what got Robert Ory open for all these shots and
Oh yeah.
everything he was taking and making? Freaking the ball going inside to Hakeem Olajuwon and him drawing 17 people. Guys
Right.
off the bench would come off trying to stop him, and then Robert Ory's wide open at the top of the key.
Right.
You know what made Steve Kerr able to knock down all them three and John Paxson able to knock down them 3 pointers? Some guy named Michael Jordan not hesitating and
Hmm.
taking the ball to the hole and drawing the defense to him. That's what made these guys dangerous. If people aren't scared of you and people aren't scared to send another guy to you, being able to shoot a 3 pointer, okay, what? You got to have two or three of those guys to be dangerous if you don't have an attacking big man.
Hmm.
That's what made Golden State so good. They didn't have an attacking big man. They just had a bunch of guys that could shoot. You couldn't guard all of them.
Right. Right.
But I hate soft basketball. Ugh.
Well, hopefully we can get back to that.
You
That's what the hope
when you
is.
get when you're an all star and you get outplayed by Deadman, you should be ashamed of yourself.
Yes, that Deadman did change some of the tempo of the game in the right direction. You know what I
They,
always told you about Deadman and
they should have put
rebounding.
they should have put them in at the same time.
Yeah, he didn't do it. Eric didn't do that enough.
No,
It was a failure of players, and I will say it was a bit of failure of coaching. Like this whole, I've never been as frustrated as watching the Heat play in a playoff series as I have been this last playoff series. I've never been as frustrated because there were certain things, certain tweaks that could have been made that maybe could have helped us out a little more, and it just wasn't done.
all year long there were little tweaks that they could have been doing here and there, and it
Mhm.
wasn't done. It wasn't like nobody on your team had experience playing in games because with people getting COVID and all that stuff, everybody on that team played.
Right.
So everybody on that team had experience. You know what? Play the people. If one thing isn't working, play the other person.
Hmm.
Like, but it was crazy to watch. He done that all year though. I've always said he's a great coach when it comes to certain things, but his rotations are absolute garbage. You get so set mindset of, look, I'm going to do it this way. They're going to stay out there for this long and everything like that. Dude, it's the playoffs. If you're gone, you're gone.
Hmm.
If you get beat, you're beat. Now's the time to switch up what you're doing and get people in and out quicker. I know you don't want to play people 40 something minutes a game, but you got to.
Right.
It's just the way
Right.
it is. But he kept going with the mindset of he needed to play 26 people a game when you don't even have 26 people.
Question: how do you feel about Tyler Hero's performance against Milwaukee? Because he ended the season strong after he came back. After me and you both agreed the Heat sat him down, so after he came back strong, and then in the playoffs he kind of disappeared again. How do you feel about his performance?
Well, they knew how to play him. They put guys on him that were going to play him. Holiday gave everybody fits. That whole
He did.
he was the key for the Bucks. Holiday was the key for the Bucks, not nobody else, because the other guys you would know were going to get theirs. But Holiday was the key because his defense alone threw off everything that Miami was trying to do.
Hmm.
Because Miami tried to get freaking Robinson and Hero the ball so they could shoot their threes and do all that stuff, and Holiday was all up in their butt. But the thing with Tyler is people figured out how to play. It's his sophomore season. This is why people go through these sophomore slumps in basketball. It's because people figure out how to play you, and he got figured out. So now his key thing is he needs to go into the off season. You need to learn how to get away from people. You need to learn how to play a little bit more physical, and you need to learn how to get your shot off better. And that's the keys. That's why you see people will have that sophomore slump, but in their third season they improve because they figure things out and they figure out what defenses are doing to them. It's easy in your rookie season to go off because people haven't figured out what you do well yet. But once they get that film on you, it's like any sport. Once they get that film on you, they will adjust and they will get in your grill and they realize that the more physical you are with him, the better. And that's what happened. People started getting physical with him, and then he shriveled.
Hmm. Are you okay with Pat Riley saying that he's a part of our core, our three-man core, alongside
Yeah,
of Jimmy and Bam?
I'm fine with it because he can say whatever he wants to say. But Pat's going to have something going on. Pat's going to say what he wants to say. I don't think Duncan Robinson is going to come back because somebody's going to give him a whopping amount of money just to shoot 3 pointers and play no defense.
Hmm.
So he's going to get a whopping amount of money for being a great shooter but average basketball player, if that makes any sense. Because that's what he is. He's a great shooter, average everywhere else.
Right. Right.
And you can't be average everywhere else and be one thing. I hate one-dimensional people. It gets on my nerves. If you were a good defender and a great shooter, then okay. If you were Klay Thompson, but Klay can also do other stuff. But
Right.
if,
Right.
if you actually had Klay's defense and could shoot like you shot, then cool, I'd be cool with you. But you can't. And half them old people ain't going to be on the team anymore.
No,
So,
they are going to be gone. I think we're going to keep Deadman, but Ariza's going to be gone. I'm not sure about Oladipo yet because he can bring us that perimeter defense, but his
yeah,
health, I just don't
but
know.
he can't stay healthy to save his poor life.
Right. Right.
And that's the bad part with that kid, man. He's got all the talent in the world. He can play defense. He just cannot stay healthy,
Hmm.
and that's the sad thing. And he won't be back until November, which if they start the season off in December again, that'd be great. But you don't know when he comes back, how he's going to come back at all either,
Right.
because they
Right.
said his injury was bad.
Yeah, it had never
Like,
completely healed from the first time.
yeah, because A, he wanted to play, and two, they wanted him to play. So I'm like, the teams are doing guys with injuries no favors
Right.
in the end. Just like the Lakers throwing Anthony Davis back out there. Did you not watch Kevin Durant go out there and play
Yeah.
when he was with Golden State and his leg blew up?
Saw how that ended. Yeah.
I was like, you saw how that ended. You're sending your franchise players out there when you know you're not going to win the game because you can't keep up with them. You want to blow that guy's leg up too? No, thank you.
Yeah, that was incompetent, and someone needs to look into that because they said the medical staff cleared him before the game, and I'm like, you
There's
guys are
no way.
fucking idiots. Yeah, they're like
If you
they're
tore,
fucking idiots.
if you have a tore meniscus or whatever, you're not getting cleared to play.
Right.
Yeah, if they clear him to play, the doctors should be fired.
Yeah, they definitely need to look into that.
But the players need to also go. I ain't playing
Well,
because if
no
I was
player is going to say
Anthony, I
that.
would have looked at, if I was Anthony, I would have looked dead at him and said, I ain't playing.
Yeah, no player is going to do that though. So that's where the coach has to come in and be like, he's not playing.
No, I would have
That-
told him. I'd have told him,
yeah.
especially if that player is in your plans for the
Hmm.
future. You go, no, he's not playing. But they're expendable to these guys. Players that are like that, they're expendable. So you're gonna be like, hey, go out there and play. We need you. You don't need me. We about to get run out of the gym by these young bucks anyway.
How do you feel about the rumors? So the Heat, of course, the Heat's attached always to every big name free agent in the offseason.
Like
So right
every
now,
they're attached to every player in the league that was that was in an All-Star game. The Heat are going to be attached to. There's two
so
teams that are going to be attached to every single All-Star, and that's the Knicks and the Heat.
well, the Heat has had more success than the Knicks recently with that. But there's three
Oh,
names
no,
that's
no, don't get Knicks fans started on that because then you'll have to hear about it. They won two more games this season than the Heat did, so I don't want to hear shit from a Knicks fan.
there's three names that the Heat are being tied to right now. So I want to get your thoughts. So we got Kawhi Leonard, we got Zach LaVine, and then we got Damian Lillard. Which one of those three do you think will fit our culture more? Oh, and I add a fourth one, Kyle Lowry. So which one of those four do you think will fit our culture more?
Well, Kyle's what I said the type of guy they needed.
Hmm.
That's the type of guy that you definitely needed. Dame, great player, great offensive player. Don't know what he's going to bring us on the defensive side of the ball. But if I had to pick any one of them, I'm shooting for the moon. I'm going with Kawhi Leonard. If I had to pick any one of them, I'm going with Kawhi. If you land any one of the four, that's great
Right, right.
because you added a piece that would fit well. But Kawhi would fit because then you could move Jimmy or Kawhi on any position.
Hmm.
Kawhi would go guard anybody.
Well,
It's like
needless.
it was like when you added LeBron. Put him on whoever you want to go and put him on.
Hold on, I'm checking to see who's playing today. 1 second. So we got
Well,
game
you had
one.
Milwaukee Nets last night.
Yeah, so we got game one of Hawks and Sixers, and then we got game seven of Mavericks and Clippers. All of Miami is going to be watching that game and rooting for Dallas. You best believe that. All of Miami is going to be rooting for Dallas to knock out the Clippers in the first round.
But the bad thing is, the thing is, Kawhi's going to be attached to New York, L.A., L.A., Miami. That's who he's going to be attached to. He's going to be attached to four teams if they lose.
Mhm.
It's
You,
uh, it, it's every year. We do this every year. Like we legit do this every year.
the Heat can swing Lowry and Kawhi. Actually, you know
They,
that can happen.
yeah, well, they're getting rid of freaking the majority of their team, so of
Right,
course they can. They're going to be able to swing whoever they want to go and get.
right. We can do
Because
that.
even with the Bam contract and everything, they still were going to be able to swing adding another superstar.
Hmm.
They just signed him because as soon as Giannis signed, they signed him back because they wanted to make sure they at least kept one person.
Right.
He was their Bam. I hate to say it, but Bam was always their backup plan.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Even though he was their backup plan.
yeah.
They were like, okay, if this guy signs this offseason, we're just going to re-sign Bam and then go after somebody on the next one because the majority of our team is not going to be here and all that salary is going to be gone.
Yeah.
Now their backup plan is they'll try to re-sign uh, Duncan Robinson if somebody they look signs somewhere else, and then I'll throw something at the TV whenever I hear it. And yeah,
As much
uh,
as you hate Duncan, it's so ironic because we're split on it. As much as you hate Duncan, I love Duncan Robinson.
no, all he does
I
is
do.
shoot. Dude,
I love it though. I love it.
but he doesn't do anything else. CL, what good is he when he got 4 fouls in the first quarter the other night and he
He'll
didn't play
get
the
you.
rest of the game?
He'll get you some rebounds. He'll get you some assists. But he is deficient in defense. Like
But
very
you can't.
deficient in defense.
But you can't get no assists and you can't get no rebounds if your ass in the first minute of the game has already committed 2 fouls and you're sitting your ass on the bench.
Look,
Availability. I will say it all the time. Availability is better than talent. If you're not available, you can have all the talent in the world,
mhm.
but if your ass ain't out there, then it don't what the hell kind of shit falling at me? Then it don't matter how you play a basketball game or a football game or anything else. If your ass is always on the sideline, then you can't do nothing from there. And that's
Dude,
what kills me about him. Yeah, you'll go off and hit them 7 3-pointers in a game where you're not fouling everybody.
mhm.
But once you go up against those talented teams, you start fouling the shit out of everybody. Because
It's
why?
always
Because all them teams attack the most vulnerable person on the team.
and they do go at him. And
And they went dead at him. They told they told Holiday, get that fucker in foul trouble.
dude,
And
every
sure
time
enough,
he
every game they got him in foul trouble.
yeah. His facial expressions when he gets that second foul is always hilarious to me
Because
because he knows he's going to.
he makes the same face every game because he always gets foul in like I'm like, dude, just get in the way. Don't put your hand up. Don't do nothing. Just move your body and try to get in the way.
Were you able to hear the little nugget that Pat Riley left for LeBron James? I don't know if
No,
you heard it or not. He
what do you
told
say?
him he said he would leave the golden key under the carpet for LeBron James if he wanted to come back.
Nah, LeBron, LeBron ain't going nowhere. The only thing I would see LeBron doing is closing his career out in Cleveland.
You think he would go back to Cleveland?
That's the only. That's the only. It's the only thing that makes any type of sense to close your career to go back home. It's a Wade type situation. Go home. Go home, close your career out, and be done with it. And then going on the Utah Jazz.
Yeah, I don't think he would go back. I think he's going to stay in LA. I don't think he would go back to Cleveland after he
Well,
left the second time.
I don't think, but that's the only scenario that makes any sense to me. If he's going to leave, he's going to leave LA and go back to Cleveland. But I don't
Got
think
to.
he's going to leave. I
No.
don't think he's. I think he's going to end up becoming part owner of Cleveland
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely, yeah,
right
yeah.
after his career. And when I
He's
say
going to
right
have.
after it's over, I'm meaning right after his career is over.
Yeah, he's going to get in that ownership, and that's the logical and smart move for him to do. Um, so to cap it off, if this is our last year seeing you down as Haslam, what last thoughts do you have on him?
It's not.
Well, I would hope it's not, but if it
It's
is,
not. He's like the damn mummy. He returns every single year. I think he signs for one more year, and then he closes it out next year. I think what they're wanting him to do is like they want him to play one more year, and then him get in every game, like him play a little bit in almost every game of the season. Because
I
like
don't know.
just putting him in one game isn't fun. Like Udonis is fun. So you put him in the game and just to make everybody cheer and have fun. Because look what
I,
happened last time you put him into the game. He wanted to beat people up.
I was really shocked that he didn't play in the Milwaukee's. That really shocked me.
You should have put him in so he could beat somebody up.
Yeah, that really, and maybe Bam could have fed off his toughness and his energy, and
He
that
he
really shocked me.
in that Philadelphia game. In that Philadelphia game, he lit a spark.
Hmm.
He sparked the arena and he sparked the team. Because as
Hmm.
soon as that happened, everybody started playing hard. Because everybody feeds off of UD.
Right,
Although he did throw a chair like WWE during a rant at them mofos, and they still was soft as toilet tissue.
right, right,
But
right.
I'm like, I want him to play one more year, and I want him to get in every game.
Yeah, his leadership is needed on the court, and I don't know why he's not playing. I just don't. Um, he doesn't have to play the whole game. He can play a 5 minute
See,
spurt. Like,
I'll let you know why he ain't playing. He's old, like old. Like me and him are old. Like the man can only there's an old saying that you have a certain amount of limits on how many times your heart beats and how many times you can run back and forth and do certain things. Yeah, we don't want him to lose out on a lot of those ticks and running up and down the court just so he can get into a basketball game that don't matter. We want him to play when it matters, and we want him to be around for a while. You can kick the bucket at any time if you're doing all that madness. Especially at my
hmm.
age, I think we'll play basketball.
Well, hopefully it's not his last year. Hopefully we can see him next year. Hopefully, even if he just plays a few minutes in each home game, that'd be
But that's
something to spark.
what I want him to do is have like a tour where he gets to at least play in some games. He gets to have his little tour. What, this will be his 37th year in the league,
Hmm.
something like that. What, this will be 15, 16, 17 years?
Yeah, I think 17. No, it's going to be 18, 19. I think it's
18. There you go. See, that many years. He's shooting for 20. That's what
yeah.
he needs. He's shooting for that Vince Carter, but only with one team. Look, where
Right, right.
how long he's in the league. But yeah, just give him his little due. Let him go and play. If not, he'll be on the coaching staff or whatever. He'll be with the team in some aspect
Hmm.
because he lives there.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he has a room somewhere in the arena. Uh,
I think he lives in the arena, and then his main residence is right outside of the beach.
we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. So that's gonna be
He's
it
he's
for.
made he has made a lot of money to be basically just the utility. He
Yeah,
made a
yeah,
lot of money in his career being that guy.
yeah. He has. He's made it. Look, the second half of his career is being that guy and making money. So yeah, he's done that a lot.
Because he makes what? He makes $1 million a year just on these minimum contracts that he's signing. So he's making a mil. Shit, give me a mil. I'll sit on the bench and yell at people.
Yeah, it'd be the number one cheerleader, right?
Oh, I will sit on the bench and yell at. No, he don't cheerlead though. He don't shit. Like he gets pissed and starts throwing shit. That's what I
Yeah,
want to. I do it at home. Why can't you pay me $1 million to do it on the court?
do it on the court.
I do it at home. I want to get paid $1 million to be a cheer, be pissed on the court. Yeah, I'll be like, motherfucker. Oh, sorry.
Absolutely. So, all right, we're gonna wrap it up. Thank you so much for joining us, Kevin. As always, this is the Heat
Man,
Lifers podcast.
wake
You
me
can
up
fo-
at 9 o'clock in the morning.
you can follow the Hardwood Nation on Twitter at Hardwood Nation. Kevin, give them your Twitter handle.
Kevin C 2415.
Give that man a follow. He is hilarious. Thank you, ladies
You
and
follow,
gentlemen. That's
follow me now, you'll mostly be getting football shit. So,
football stuff until basketball.
oh,
All right.
I'll still be yelling about football for freaking next year. So don't worry about
him and his Jaguars, guys. Trevor Lawrence. Thank you,
it. Oh,
Kevin.
thank goodness, finally something